What about the whole pro-life subject? Were you always pro-life?
I think from as long as I can remember from the first time I heard about abortion, it seemed very simple to me that that was not something that we should be doing, that we cannot do that. But I think I definitely made exceptions. I think until 2014, if you had asked me, and without really crystallizing this in my mind, I think if you had asked me, what about if a woman is raped, I would have been like, well, I think that maybe in certain circumstances, like you shouldn't force a woman to have a baby, the whole rhetoric, all the rhetoric that we hear, because I didn't know, I didn't stop and really think about a woman who'd just gone through trauma and violence. I didn't think about what I would really be saying. I would really be saying that let's add some trauma and violence and then she'll be better. And that will equal healing. And that just doesn't add up. But that's what a lot of people believe and think, that's going to make it better. And I hear that, well, what if a woman is suicidal after she's raped and find out she's pregnant? Well, then she needs some help. I mean, if that's putting her on the brink of suicide, we need to help her. Sure. And abortion is not going to fix that. I mean, it creates a whole other slew of problems, additional problems. The rape is the trauma, and that doesn't just go away. Ever, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it ever goes away completely. But it's certainly, I have.
You don't have peace with Christ? You don't have peace over it? I'm not saying that you don't. Go.
I definitely do, but it's still a work in progress. I mean,
Sure.
I think that there are reasons, that I still have nightmares. I still have flashbacks, things like that. I think that there are reasons that he allows that. I mean, if there's total healing, like he can do that. For sure. But I think there are reasons that he may not. Like Paul prayed for the thorn in his side to be removed, 3 times, and it didn't happen. There are reasons, and I think for me, it keeps me very passionate about what I'm doing. It keeps my story. It keeps me very genuine in telling my story. When I talk about it, it doesn't ever just become rote. Like I'm just telling a story. Like I feel it, and I'm very. I think it makes a difference. I don't want to ever become just a machine,
No, I understand. I felt stupid saying that you don't have peace, but because I believe in the transformative power of Christ, I thought it was possible. Yeah.
I think there's a lot, and I would say I do have peace, but I don't think. I think because we live in a fallen world, that to have perfect peace with everything, I don't know that it's possible here. I mean, I don't know, it might be, but every rape survivor I've talked to, I mean, I have peace with my son, I have peace with my family, but I have trauma, and it's something that I'm working through, and that he's working through with me, but I don't know that I will, we won't be complete.
No.
We won't be complete until we're face to face. And so I think that that's more of kind of how I feel.
Regarding the left, how do you feel about the fact that rather than showing sympathy for something so horrible, they added to your troubles? Were you in shock, and how do you deal with it now? Do you just laugh it off, or do you not laugh? Do you find them, do you pray for them? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I was in shock, actually. I was in shock because my mom was pro-choice. I've known a lot of pro-choice people, but they were not rabid and hateful, So I mean, the people that you meet online, there's definitely something that happens when people get behind a keyboard, when they can't see you face to face, and the ferocity and just the hatred that comes across. It was shocking. When our story was first told, we were sharing it with a small little group, and it went viral. And viral to the tune of, like, by the end of the week, like over 1 million direct shares to Facebook. And
wow.
Like, that was not something I had ever expected. I had a brand new baby, and then it was like shared in a bunch of different countries, and I cannot not read comments, so I'm there with Google Translate, and I'm like looking up through Italian and Finnish and whatever, and I'm like, why are they so hateful? And the things that they said, I just didn't understand because
So it wasn't even American.
What? No, and everyone was calling me these names, and I was like, I didn't condemn anyone. I didn't judge you. I didn't call anyone a murderer. I was like, this is my story. And that was it. And that's always the way that I've been. Do I think abortion is wrong? Yes. Do I think it's harmful? Yes. Do I wish it would end? Yes. But that doesn't mean that I'm saying that I don't understand, that I'm, casting judgment, that I'm condemning another person.
No.
I absolutely understand. It's an incredible amount of pressure. So when a woman comes yelling at me saying that, you don't know what I remember the first time that I actually responded to someone directly shouting at me. She was like, how dare you shame and judge me? You don't know what I went through when I was raped at 19, and you don't know that I had to have an abort, all this stuff. And I wanted to respond in anger, and I was ready to just let her have, like, you don't know me. And
yeah, you know what I went through, bitch.
you know what I went through, exactly. Like, I really, like, the fleshly part of me just wanted to let her have it. And I found myself writing. It was like there's a meme that shows like the Holy Spirit like putting his hand on your mouth, It was kind of like that. And I found myself writing, sister, like, if you've come looking for someone to throw stones at you, you are in the wrong place. I just said, I'm so sorry that you did not have the support that you needed at 19 years old. And I'm so sorry that something so horrific happened to you. I said, there is, no condemnation in Christ. I said, I pray that you have found peace and forgiveness. And I said, I want nothing but healing for all of us. And emailed me, and we ended up Skyping that night, and she just cried. Like, she just broke down, and she was a Christian, which was interesting because that was a vile response. But she was like, I just can't forgive myself. And that was the thing. She had other babies, but she couldn't forgive herself. And that stuck with me. So every time I'm dealing with someone, the angrier they are, the more I'm trying to remember they're hurting. Like, there's a reason, like, they're screaming about how their abortion was the best thing they ever did. I'm like, then why are you so angry? Why are you so mad at me for sharing my story that has nothing to do with shaming anyone else, nothing to do with condemning anyone else? I'm sharing my story and the truth of what 80% of us who keep our children after rape. Why are you so mad about that? So if someone is just if someone is just like, she's a liar and she had an affair and she's like, whatever, I'm not going to respond to that because that's just ridiculous. Like, there's documentation, like, that's just, I'm not going to get into that. But if someone is just asking, if they're like, aren't you scared that he's going to grow up to be a rapist? Aren't you scared? Like, if they don't know.
Literally, I actually find that retarded. Like, you can raise a child to be a good citizen. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's no
rape is hereditary.
There's no scientific proof to back that up. I mean, there have been some studies that show that children who come from like long lines of violence have like some predisposition towards anger, but there needs to be something to trigger that. Like, it just, we've done our research. So don't come at me saying that, like all this, no, it doesn't work that way. And, but if they genuinely just want to have a conversation, I will have a conversation. And I'll say that I'm like, if you're going to attack me and just call me names, like, this is not going to happen. But if you want to talk to me, like, let's talk. So we got attacked on the page not too long ago, and we ended up having to ban like 1,100 people who just came on my page and just called me vile names and called my son vile names. And I was up for 15 hours straight, just like deleting comments, because there are a lot of survivors who come to my page. And I'm like, I don't want them reading that. I don't want people who are on the brink of deciding what to do and looking for solace reading these horrible things. Like, I feel very responsible for the people who are looking to me for leadership or whatever, so I'm very cautious of that. It's hard. It's still hard. People are like, you need to be tougher. You need to be Teflon coated. And I'm not built that way. I'm 44 now. It's not going to happen. Like, I'm not just going to suddenly develop the shell. I don't have that. So it hurts and it bothers me, and it hurts my kids. It hurts my family. I keep going.
Yeah, you do. Do you feel like you don't care if someone attacks you, but if it's your son, are you like, oh, is that the
that's the tipping point. Like, I will go back and forth. If someone's just attacking me, I will dialogue with them. I'll try to reason with them, even though I've got a team of people who help me monitor my page. They're like, Jen, can we just blog? I'm like, no, I'm talking to them. They're like, no, it's going to end badly. And it does. They're always right. But I tried to talk to them. You know, if they've left me a bad review that they're like, you know, this woman's like all these names, and I'm like, okay, why? Like, why would you say that? Like, you don't know me. You obviously have not listened to me. I'll try to talk to them just because I want to know, like, what. But if someone jumps on the page and calls my son like a demon seed or, you know, rapist deposit or something like that, then we're done. Then we're done. Then it's over. Like, there's no talking to you, block your band, and I'll probably write a blog about you. Like, like, without saying your name, like, you're the next post that I make that's going to be shared 50,000 times is going to be about your comment.
Yeah.
With your name blocked, because it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's
like, we don't. Yeah, I mean, most people, even other pro-choicers and stuff, like, we're all parents. We're going to start throwing kids into the bus. It's not okay. It's not okay.
No, it isn't. Jennifer, I was wondering, for those who are not aware, what was your husband's initial reaction when this horrific incident occurred? What'd you do? What'd you say? Or what'd he say?
Initially, when the attack occurred, or when he found out about the baby?
Both.
Just with the attack? Okay, well, he was very loving with the attack. He was very supportive. I knew he was dealing with his own feelings of, you know, homicidal rage. He definitely, you know, I knew he was talking to his brother, and, you know, they were like, he was like wanting to find this guy, and I was like, that's not happening, guys. We're not doing that. But I knew, like, this super gentle man who I've known since I was 14 was enraged, but trying not to show it. And, you know, he had the smile on, and he was, you know, like, we're going to be okay, and we're going to get through this. But I heard him in the shower, like, sobbing and punching the walls, and then he'd come back out and he'd smile and he'd be like, we're okay. And I'd be like, we're not okay. And it was just, we didn't know what to do. And if you've ever heard interviews with him, he's like, I failed at that time. And he didn't fail. We didn't know what to do. You know, I mean, it's not a dynamic. It's nothing that you train for. You know, we didn't know how to relate as husband and wife, like how he was afraid to touch me. He was afraid to, like, it was just, it was bad. It was bad. I was away working when I found out I was pregnant, and I called him, and
you're in Colombia.
I just said, I was in Colombia. Yes, I was interpreting on a cruise ship, and I had just had an ultrasound in Cartagena, and I'd gotten back to the ship, and, you know, I was holding my pregnancy test and my little ultrasound, and Jeff had known I'd been sick, and I've been emailing him, but it's super expensive to call from a cruise, and but they were like, you know, go ahead and make a phone call. And I did, and he picked up immediately, and I just said, are you sitting down? I said, I'm pregnant. Yeah. And just a second of silence, and he said, okay. And I said, okay, what? Okay is not an acceptable response. Like, I need something from you. Okay, what? And I just remember my thoughts were racing. I was thinking, we'd have to tell the kids, and my parents are going to freak out, and what are his parents are going to be looking at me like, what have you been doing? Like, it's just going to be bad. And everyone knew he'd had a vasectomy, like, what? And I just started to talk. I'm like, how can you say it's okay? How are you calm? What are we going to do? And he just said, sweetheart, he said, this baby is a gift. He said, this is something beautiful that's come from something so terrible and so painful for us. And I remember just taking a breath, and he goes, we love babies. And I said, yeah, we love babies. And he said, we can do this. This will be awesome. We can do this, you and me. I said, okay. And that was it. And people either love that response or absolutely hate it. And they're like, how, you know,
stupid.
Yeah, I was like, how do you, they're like, you know, what man, when his wife is brutally raped, is like, okay, cool, a kid. I'm like, he didn't say, okay, cool, a kid. He recognized that this was a good thing. Babies are always a blessing. And at a time when nothing was familiar to us, a baby we could do. Babies we knew. We'd had 4 kids. We've done pregnancies. We've done babies. We needed this. We needed something. And I heard him talk about this on an interview, and he just said it so eloquently. He was like, this was familiar territory to us. You know, we needed something to look forward to. We needed something positive. And he's like, and I found out about this baby, and it was like, her heart needed this, the baby needed her, she needed this baby, we all needed this. And it was just, it was a beautiful thing from the beginning. And it was like, okay, my wife is pregnant, we are having a baby, our family is getting ready to welcome another baby, we're expanding our family. And it was nothing but beautiful from the beginning.
Yeah. And what is his relationship like with this little boy?
They're great. Jeff's a great daddy. It's one of the most wonderful things I could ever give my children is a good daddy. And I gave them one of the best. And from the moment he found out, I mean, Jeff was at every ultrasound, and carrying around those little funky pictures in his wallet and showing people like, this is my son. And he's so proud of him. He's coaching. That's where they are tonight. He's coaching his soccer team, a bunch of 4 and 5-year-olds running around, hugging him and picking flowers in the field and not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And he adores him. He's just his son. And he jokes, and he's like, he's our favorite. And because every kid at this age, before they start talking to the car and all that, they're our favorite. They hit puberty and they get a little less pleasant, then they're not our favorite anymore. But he's so loving, and he's so great. And I know when we talked to Joshua about how he was conceived, that a lot of the angst is going to be taken away, because there's no way you would ever look at our family and be like, well, that kid is treated different. I mean, if anything, he's more doted on because he's the baby, and or he gets away with so much. And so yeah, they have a neat relationship. They're super close.
Oh, that's good. It sounds like he doesn't. I mean, if he chooses to look into his history and his heritage, that's awesome. But it sounds like he doesn't have that piece missing. It sounds like he might be okay. Like he might never.
I think he will be. We know a lot of adopted people, and it tends to be the women, I've noticed, who want a little bit more, like, I want to know where I came from and where I belonged. And the men are like, I'm good. I've got my family. So I don't know. I don't know where he'll fall with that. But yeah, he definitely has a very solid family, and he's got we've got thousands and thousands of comments in a book for him that he has from people all around the world. We've talked about what a gift he is, and what a beautiful child he is, and what, a calling they know God has on his life. And, it's a pretty cool thing that he's changing hearts and lives, before he even knows it.
That's amazing. What about like your internal medical problems resulting from the attack and the mental battle that you've had to deal with? Does that somehow all balance out because you have this beautiful boy?
Yeah, it really does. We talk about, I talk about that a lot, because all the surgeries and the seizures, which have, changed our life. I couldn't be alone with the baby, and, when he was really little, and I, couldn't drive for a really long time. And it was just, it changed everything. That the attack changed everything. And there was like, until a year ago, constant pain. There was like back and forth with 6 major surgeries and 3 or 4 minor surgeries. I was always in and out of the hospital, and there was always this constant pain. And it was like, that would still be there. I would still have that. Like that, if I'd had an abortion, like that wouldn't be gone.
No, it wouldn't. But you'd be one child down and more depressed.
And right. And still have to go through all this pain and all this trauma. And I remember after the last surgery, it was really bad. And I was on a lot of pain medication. It wasn't helping. And I remember sitting up once in bed, and Joshua had his hands on my face like this. He was staring at me, and I was like, hey. And he's like, Mommy, he looked very serious. He's like, I just love your beautiful self so much. And I'm like, what? He was not even 4 at the time. And I was like, buddy, like, I don't know what I did to deserve you, but I love your beautiful self so much too. So like, he's worth everything, like I can't imagine having to go through everything that we've been through and not having that. I can't imagine my whole family having to go through all that we've been through and not having that joy at the end of it. Like it would just, it's so bleak. It sounds so sad to me. You know, he's given us so much.
Well, he obviously has. That's incredible. I am curious about something here in Australia. When one is raped, the requirement is that you go to the cops, you get a rape kit, and then you take a morning after pill. Why did? What's the process there? And obviously you didn't take it. Why? Because that's not technically.
It's offered.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's offered. It says in my chart that it was administered. I'm on a lot of medication for rheumatoid arthritis, and there are things that can counteract it, that can make it less effective. So there's that. There's also the possibility that while it says administered, I didn't actually ever take it. I don't remember taking it. There were more pressing medical concerns
for sure.
that they were focused on. So they weren't sure how the brain bleed was going to, if that was going to resolve, if that was going to need surgery. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of bleeding. There was a lot of internal stuff going on. So that was not a priority. Yeah, and there's still a lot of debate on whether or not it's an abortifacient.
Well, I wouldn't take it. I'm an absolutist on abortion. I don't think I would take it. Especially because at the age that I am, I would want, as stupid as it sounds, I don't want to ever get raped. But if I was, and that's my only chance for a baby, and that's not the reason I would keep it. I just would have. But that baby would act as a source. That baby would act as a source of light in my life.
Yeah, and I oh my gosh, I got a ton of, if you see the YouTube, the video from Live Action, I said I wouldn't have taken it. I said I don't remember taking it. They said it was administered, but I wouldn't have taken it. And oh my gosh, people are just like, she's so stupid. I was like, I didn't say it was an abortion pill. I didn't know at the time. And they're like, how stupid that she didn't know. I'm like, I've been married for 20 years. And my husband had it. It wasn't an issue. I didn't need to educate myself about it. You know, it was a very big understanding. But because it says that it's not, I don't know. There's some question on whether if fertilization has occurred, it can prevent implantation. It says that on the box. There's a discussion about it. So if there's a chance, why not? Why would you take a risk? That's on. But I don't remember a lot. I remember bits and pieces, but I was very hurt. They gave me a lot of pain medication when I got there. It's very fuzzy. You know, I mean, that it's a very surreal, it's kind of like a dream that whole time in the hospital. So I don't remember if I took it or not. I'm thinking probably not. But it's offered, but it's not, I don't know that they tell you what it is, but if they take you to a Catholic hospital or something, you'll never get it.
Oh, okay. Do you believe, I mean, aside from ectopic, do you think abortion is always not the answer?
I am also what you would consider an extremist.
Yeah, I think we're both extremists.
I think I don't believe that that's a life that's ours to take.
Like Down syndrome, or whatever it may be.
Right, whatever the case is, I think that's a life that is it's not yours. I think that there are cases of triage, you know, if there, you know, what if the woman is bleeding out? What if she has cancer? What if whatever? If you are treating yourself, you know, if you need to take care of yourself, if you're having cancer and you're going to die, then treat yourself, take care of yourself. If the baby dies, that's a tragedy, but you are not intentionally killing that child. That's not an abortion. That's triage. You know, that's a very different thing. You're not intentionally killing the child. You're not saying I'm going to kill the child. Like, and there are hundreds and hundreds of OBGYNs who will testify that there's no medical reason for abortion. You know, I mean, if you need to deliver early, then that's an early delivery. Even if you know the baby's not going to survive, that's still not intentionally going in and killing the child. That's delivering early, and it's a tragedy. It's sad. It's not the same as an abortion. I think intention matters.
Yeah. I just had a really awesome thought.
What?
I don't know if you've heard of these people. I'm imagining you have. But you, Gianna Jessen, and Abby Johnston, Johnson doing like a 3-woman like panel on like doing like around the country or coming to Australia. Like you each bring, one of them is an abortion survivor, one of them worked for abortionists, and one was raped and had a baby. Like I don't know, it just sounds cool. It just sounds cool. Like if you three
I haven't met Donna yet. I love her. I would love to meet her. She's one of. I actually just had a conversation about her. I was like, she's one of my pro-life
heroes.
Heroes. I think she's amazing.
Her Melissa Orr.
Abby, I know.
Oh, you know Abby? Can you get her on my channel?
Abby's a friend. I will. I'll share the interview with her. Abby's a friend.
Yay.
She had me interpret at her pro-life women's conference.
Oh, lovely.
And and it's cool. Every time I chat with her on Messenger, and it's just like a chat, it's still like I just got off like a chat with Abby Johnson. Like it's weird. Like there's Abby Johnson, and there's like Abby who I'm chatting with. And it's very cool. She's very neat. I think she's a very cool person. She's very genuine. She takes a lot of heat too, but
she does. My only criticism about her is that after all of everything she went through, she became a Catholic. Rather than
what I love about Abby is what you see is what you get. You know, like she's not one person in this and one person behind closed doors, and there's a lot of that in the world, and she's who she is, and she's unapologetic, and more power to her.
Absolutely.
But you said who else did you say?
Melissa Orr. Yeah, she's another rape survivor. No, sorry, abortion survivor. Sorry.
Melissa Odin.
Sorry, yes.
Melissa Odin. Yeah. I spoke with Melissa at the March for Life in London in May.
Oh, nice.
We were both her too. Yeah, we were both speakers, so I got to meet her, which was very cool. Yeah, she's pretty cool. So, yeah, I've had the opportunity to meet like some of the big names, which is very neat. They
are big names. Yeah, I've been trying to I've communicated with Gianna many times, and she just ignores me on Twitter, which is fine because I'm just a nobody saying, "Hey, come on my channel," and she says no. I've never tried with Melissa. I have with Abby, so it'd be cool if you could hook me up.
I'll try. She's very busy.
Oh, I don't expect anything. I was just it'd just be cool if a question were asked.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about your Christianity. Were you always a Christian, or did this incident make you more Christian, or like what's your testimony?
Yeah, well, I grew up in a home that was very Easter, Christmas Christians, you know, and my dad was. No, sorry, that's an expression that you go to church on the holidays.
Oh, sure. Okay.
You know, so that's
good.
You know, and my dad was very abusive, and he was the only Christian person I knew, and so I didn't really have a lot of faith in Christianity. You know, I didn't have a great yeah.
Fair.
My parents split when I was 14. My mom started dating, well, a lot of people, but one guy in particular started taking us to church, and a lot of people. But one guy in particular, she's gone. My mom is no longer with us, otherwise she might not appreciate that. But,
no, fair enough.
Yeah. Otherwise I might ask you to edit that. But
fair.
One guy she dated for a while brought us to church, the church where I met my husband. I was 14, and their relationship soon ended, but I loved it. It was a non-denominational, just Bible teaching church. Sure. And I remember just never wanting to leave, like just going in there and just feeling like there was something there that I needed.
And how old were you?
I accepted Christ. I was 14. Okay. 13 or 14. And I accepted Christ. And that summer I met my husband, and we were part of a very intense youth group. It was very intense all through high school, very much on fire. And my walk kind of ebbed and flowed through the years. I was always a Christian. We always attended church, but there were times when I was, more backslidden, and times when I was more on fire, and, that kind of thing. This definitely rocked my world. Yeah. This definitely made me want to be used. I really felt
you're a vessel.
Yeah, I really felt like, okay, I'm still here, I don't feel like I've lived a life that made me worthy of being saved. And I was saved, you know, like there's no reason I should be here, and I'm here. So use me, you know, and he has. And so it was just kind of like,
keep going.
So like we didn't necessarily plan to speak. We didn't really plan on anything. And it was just like, just open doors and let us know what you want us to do. And a lot of doors have opened, and we're just walking through them. And that's kind of the way it's been. But my faith has grown by leaps and bounds, you know, and I'm bolder than I've ever been. I don't, you know, I mean, if you ever go to my Facebook page, I'm unabashedly Christian. I'm unabashedly 100% pro-life. I don't care, you know, how people mock or anything. Like it bothers me, but I'm not going to back down. I feel like I was given this chance, and I'm going to honor God with the life that I have left.
Oh, you're young, geez. Yeah. So do you think maybe, and I'm not saying God did it, because I would never say that. I think God lets life happen, and then shit happens, and then you take your lessons from that. But do you think maybe what you've dealt with has in another positive, not just your son, but the other positive being that you're much stronger than you ever were. Your faith with Christ is maybe the first thing that happens to you every day. I'm not there. I only become close to God when bad things happen to me, like what I was telling you earlier about the left. But then I sort of start to slide off again. And even now, like, I'm not going to church every Sunday. I sort of pick and choose, and that's not good. But I know that's not right. But do you find that your relationship and your faith in Christ is consistent and strong, and that had that not have happened to you, you'd still be sort of a lapsed Christian?